we can do the secret all behind the scenes chat now, Ricki. Now, tell me, have you been doing any coaching coaching stuff this week, or have you been in uh, the media for reasons other than birds this week?
No, I haven't.
That must
I do
be
have a thing tomorrow. I'm talking at a conference tomorrow about things that have nothing to do with birds and everything to do with pride in sport.
very good. Very good.
Yeah, fulfilling my ongoing commitments to that.
It's always interesting when football just pushes everything else off the news cycles. Did you catch up with the news that the Victorian Premier just resigned?
I did not. Wow.
I know. Yeah, pulled the pin. It's always the same old thing. There's family reasons, just wants to step away from it. Probably a good idea, but
He's been at it for a while. He's got a fairly illustrious career.
13 years or something is.
That's enough.
Uh,
Undefeated.
Well, I hope there's no scandal to go with it, but you never know when these things come out.
Oh, I think he's Teflon Dan, isn't he?
Yeah, but it is the Labor Party. Hello for those of you just jumping in. We're just having our little chit chat before to let you all arrive before I press the countdown video. So bear with us. We're just discussing the big bombshell in Victorian politics that just dropped, that the Premier has resigned.
When did he do this? How long ago?
Just an hour before we jumped in here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there was a news alert saying urgent press conference called by the Premier. Speculation is he is resigning, and that's what happened.
So he'd already leaked it a little bit. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, now let me go. I'll just get the rare bird stuff up ready too. We'll go through New South Wales rare birds first, and there's some crackers for Victoria this week. Some absolute crackers. So we'll get to that in a minute. I really should subscribe to all these alerts so I don't have to look them up, shouldn't I? Okay, well, who have we got on board? I think we've only got YouTube on board so far. Let me just see. No, YouTube and Facebook. Hello, YouTube and Facebook. We're just about to press the countdown, so you're getting the behind the scenes chit chat for Ricki and I as we sort of catch up with each other and prepare what we're going to do. But we do know what we're doing. All right, Ricki. I'll press the countdown and then we'll get into it. And thanks for coming, you early birds. G'day, Ricki.
Yeah, g'day, Grant. Again.
It's a deep dive. It's the birdwatching deep dive where Ricki and I just find any reason we can to talk about birds and bird watching. Thank you for the like, Glenn Smith. Glenn Smith Photography. I notice you are now tagging yourself there, Glenn. So that's nice to see. Ricki, has it been a busy week for you in your bird watching?
Yeah, well, it has so far. I guess if the week starts on Monday and it's only Tuesday, I was out yesterday morning early and down in Royal National Park, and I it was kind of birds, but it was also platypuses. Platypuses are a bit on my radar at the moment because they're earlier this year, New South Wales National Parks and Wildlife Service teamed up with the University of New South Wales. I think the WWF were involved in this, and probably Aussie Ark and certainly Taronga Zoo all got involved in releasing 10 platypuses that have been previously collected from down the coast and depositing them into the Hacking River.
Now, and, is that a reintroduction, or is that fortifying an existing population?
No, it's a reintroduction. Platypuses have been absent from the park for, well, it must be 20 years, could be more. And I've never seen one in Royal National Park. So, and I've been going down there since the 70s, early 70s. They're tracking them, so they've got some kind of radio tracking devices on them. I've seen them now a few times in recent weeks. And I've not seen any collars, but I do know they're tracking them. So they may have, little surgically implanted some devices into them, much like they do with some shorebirds.
So they're like the little pill, like the capsule tracker.
Perhaps like they might also put on your pet dog or cat.
Yeah,
something of that kind of thing.
Yeah, so they're not as cumbersome as the actual harnesses that.
Oh, yeah, all those old things which are so terrible.
Particularly for a platypus that clambers up and down banks and there's tree roots poking in and everything, you would imagine
it's not safe for them, I would imagine. So they've come up with this idea, and so far it seems to be a winner. Now the platypuses have gone. Probably for those who are familiar with the area, they were released around Wattle Flat on the Hacking River in Royal National Park. They've now moved a few kilometres north up into Kangaroo Creek. So they're well up into Kangaroo Creek, heading towards the town of Helensburgh, I believe. Not Helensburgh, sorry, Engadine, Heathcote area.
Engadine, of the famous McDonald's.
Yes, that place, yeah. The famous Engadine Macca's.
I'll just break in there, Ricki, just to let people know. Glenn has put his notable sightings in the comments. So if you've got something that you want us to share and talk about, stick it in the comments, and we will do that. So we'll get to yours shortly, Glenn. One of them's a very good one, I think, for Canberra, the Mount Annan Botanic Gardens. So we'll talk about that in a minute. Ricki, I'll just divert you off platypi. Is it platypi? Platypuses?
You can say platypus. I say platypuses.
I say platypuses too, but I'm usually incorrect with my grammar. So, but
I
whatever.
don't think we say octopi and octopuses. Octopi and anymore.
Flocks of platypus. I don't know. What is a group of platypus called? Platyplonk. A platyplonk.
Platyplonk? No, it's just platypuses. I saw some platypuses on the river. I guess you could say platypi, and it'd sound very traditional.
I'm going to look it up when we're doing something else. I'm going to look up the collective noun for platypus in a minute. Ricki, let's do another sort of ad for yourself that we'll get out of the way, and then we'll just go. We'll just do a tour around some of the rare bird sightings around the world. I'm still getting over the red-footed and brown booby up in Scotland. Those two, that's still got me shaking my head. But you, it's school holidays, Ricki, so you have been doing Discovery Kids, Aussie Wild Discovery Kids.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, it's something I've been thinking about doing something with kids for a while, and because I have so much engagement with them in my other working life as an educator at Sydney Zoo out there in Western Sydney. And I figured, well, I should perhaps get a little bit more of this going down around my way in Royal National Park. So, I set up this little idea that I would get together kids between the ages of 8 and 12 and take them out on walks in nice birding locations in Royal National Park. And we would cover the fauna, the flora, pretty much everything. And this would be called Discovery Kids. And we'd do like a treasure hunt. So we go out with a little clipboard and we've got all of these different, special things to see in the forest. And today was the inaugural one, actually.
So today was day one. So how many kids? How many kids did you have?
I had one that was a no-show, so I've got to contact mum and say, hey, you missed a day. Do you want to reschedule for another day? But, 7 kids came along. And, we had an amazing time. And it started, and there was one kid there who's like a full-on little birder. He's like in year 5. And he knew bird calls and all kinds of stuff. He was right into it. He's got a list of 234 birds.
That's really cool. Well, let's get
what was azure kingfisher, so he was very happy.
Oh, well, that's a really nice get.
Yeah,
that's a really nice get. Well, let's get a summary of Discovery Kids, and of course, people, if you are interested in Ricki's Discovery Kids program for kids in school holidays, so you've probably missed out for this school holidays, but for the next one.
I've still got somewhere you can fit in. Yeah.
Okay, so aussiewild.com.au if you're in the Sydney region and you are interested. So jump in there. But,
it's a lot of fun. We had a great time. And they really loved the treasure hunt aspect. And I'm sure a few porcupines were told too.
All right. Well.
Treasure hunt, you can tally it all up. So how many times certain butterflies and bowerbirds, and did you see the bowerbird's eyes and all that stuff? So
well, that's not a bad segue, Ricki, where we're talking about maybe a few lies were told. Let's look at some rare bird alerts.
Right, yeah.
Now, I'm going to pull up the eBird New South Wales rare bird alerts for the last 7 days. I might just see if we can do 14. I might just see if we can do 14 days. We'll just stick with the 7 days. Here it comes. There we are.
Glasses on.
Now, there's...
Magpie goose in Kempsey. All right, it's all right.
Yeah. So I did want to talk about how it's interesting about some of the species that make it onto a rare bird alert. I'm not really sure that I would have put a mallard, a grey teal, or even an Indian peafowl on a rare bird report. I'm not sure how many wild peafowl there are in areas adjacent to where they may have been sort of wild farm specimens. So I'm not too sure about that. But the magpie goose, I mean, once upon a time they would have been a very common sight, I would imagine, in parts of New South Wales.
I would have thought for up around that part of the world that the magpie goose, I wouldn't call that a rarity. I'll just say if a mallard turns up, that's just a feral, just a feral duck.
Unless, and I mean, there's no way to know this, but I mean, the northern shoveler sometimes turns up in Australia, and the gargany and the some of the northern hemisphere ducks occasionally turn up in Australia. So if it was a mallard that was actually doing the migration, that would be an interesting sighting. But the chances are it's just one that's been living in a park, in
Dewey Lagoon. I've seen so many mallard in there. Yeah. And there are so many that have, crossbred or basically raped the Pacific black ducks. Yeah. We've got an interesting hodgepodge of ducks around Dewey and Narrabeen lagoons.
and the mallard genes tend to dominate the Pacific black duck genes when they.
Seems so.
When,
Yeah.
I think that
Oh,
there was actually a study done years and years and years and years ago. When I was a youngster, I had a book called Waterfowl, and it had a whole section on how the mallard was bastardising wild duck populations all around the world.
yeah.
But here we go. This is the blue-breasted quail. Now, what's the blue-breasted
What the
quail?
hell?
I
Okay, she reaches for a field guide here because the blue-breasted quail. I have a feeling I need to.
no! You know what? You know what it is? It's king quail because it's
Yes, because they have a bit of a blue breast, don't they?
yeah, Synoicus chinensis. I remember before they
Oh,
changed
right,
the
yes.
before they changed the scientific the genus name.
Yeah.
That was chinensis, wasn't it? So that's
Yeah.
what that will be.
Yeah, that's what
Oh,
it is. Yeah.
that's a really good get. I'm not sure I would have called it again. Oh, where is it?
Lake
Where's
Macquarie.
Terrelba?
So
Near Lake Macquarie.
yeah, round Newcastle way.
Oh, that's a good get. I mean, you've got the brown quail, you got the well, Australian king quail, or as eBird is calling it, the blue-breasted quail. Cryptic birds, so they're good gets.
Yeah, I don't know. Would you call? I don't know if you call a brown quail rare.
I wouldn't.
Bird.
No. Well, this is what I wanted to talk about, and why I thought doing rare birds regularly would be an interest. Rare bird sightings, rare bird alerts would be interesting because sometimes a bird that might not be very very rare, if it's cryptic, it's still a really exciting find for a bird watcher. So.
Yeah,
So that's it.
doesn't make it a rare bird though. Like
No. Well, in a bird watching sense, it could be a rare bird, but maybe in a biology or ecology sense, it may not be a rare bird. And sometimes birds that we think are rare.
That considering how many people are looking and how many.
That's right. If they're cryptic and they're not being surveyed, we don't know.
Yeah, because is it rare, or is it that just there's not a lot of highly skilled birders in that area?
Well, see, all these next ones, and again, we're talking rose crown fruit dove in Port Stephens. I would have thought that would just be a regular migratory turn up. Shining bronze cuckoo, same thing.
Shining bronze cuckoo? Why are they saying that's or Murrumbidgee?
Yeah, Murrumbidgee. I mean,
that's odd. These are odd calls for rarities. Brush cuckoo.
Brush cuckoo. Well, brush cuckoo in Sydney would not be
in Auburn,
common.
In Auburn, I'd say to be. It's a rarity.
Yeah, it wouldn't be common. And then you've got buff-banded rail, again, a cryptic bird, spotted crake, cryptic bird, Australian crake, cryptic bird. What else have we got? We get down to the end. God, a lot of people.
Australian crake in Mount Annan Botanic Gardens. That just means not often seen. I don't know if that makes it rare.
I'm just going to have a look. Maybe spotted crake will Glenn's got the spotted crake at Mount Annan in his list. We'll get to yours too in a minute too, Vicky. So that's a nice good one that you got in there. So lots for the Australian crake. All right. Oh wow, look at that. And then Australasian swamp hen in Willoughby. On a golf course. I wouldn't have thought that was rare. Wow. That's not rare. Bellion's crake. Again, Bellion's crake. Redneck avocet.
Bailon's crake. Yeah. Bailon's crake for the listeners.
Bailon's, get it right, Grant. There we go. Redneck avocet in Parramatta.
Somebody called it. I saw a thing of Bailon's crake called on a golf course on the Northern Beaches the other day. I saw that on Facebook, and a few people were remarking on the rarity of that. But Bailon's crake I've had up there a bit. It's also used to be a really common get at the Australian golf course down there around Botany area. And yeah, I used to get it every time I go there. Well, so it's kind of a bit of a golf course bird.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
they get
yeah,
they get left alone because the people using the golf course aren't interested in going near the near the roads. So,
yeah, yeah.
um,
But I've also had them. They're also a bit of a stock standard in some of the wetlands out around Windsor Way too, in northwest Sydney.
uh, and all three of the craics at Mount Annan at the moment.
Which is
So
it's very
so
nice
that's
to be
good.
able to go there and get a bunch of them spotted,
Yeah.
spotless, and harmless. That'll
And
be
for
a good
those of
go
you
for me.
who, if you don't know where Mount Annan is, what we're talking about, that's the Botanic Gardens. One of the national botanic gardens, and it's in Canberra. So, and it's a beauty. So,
Oh, okay. So I'm thinking Mount Annan
oh no, Mount Annan's the Western Sydney one,
in
isn't it?
Western Sydney.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Western
yeah.
Sydney. Beg your pardon. Not the Black Mountain one.
Mm.
So there we go. Let's have a look. There's a few
What
more.
about your greater sand plovers? Piedoik. There's
Yeah,
Henley. I don't
that's
know where Henley is. Hunter's Hill. Pied.
Shoalhaven.
That's
Shoalhaven.
rare.
Yeah,
Greater sand plover. Well, unfortunately, they're not as common down on this part of the coast at all anymore. Where that used to be a regular, or at least a kind of semi-common bird just over near where I live there at Boat Harbour.
well, it's only one bird seen by three people on the one day. So
Yeah.
at the same location. What have we got?
What else?
Hudsonian Godwit
Oh, that's a
over a
good one. Where
couple.
is that? Oh, Jazz.
Uh,
Okay, yeah.
Kempsey. So
That's almost
over
worth a
2 days.
catch. Mm.
Over 2 days. So that's a good one. Still unconfirmed according to eBird. Sharp-tailed sandpiper. See, I wouldn't have called that a rare bird at the
No,
right time of the
the
year.
Sharpie is hardly rare anyway.
Yeah,
Curlew
curlew
sands.
sandpipers, pectoral
Where at?
sandpiper.
Gum
They
Creek.
were
No.
at Flowers
Oh,
Gap.
Curlew sands up there. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Hey, I
yeah.
once got a double-banded plover on a dam in Warren, which I
Well,
think might be the furthest northwest kind of inland sighting of a double-banded plover ever. But I never reported it because back then you didn't really do it.
here we are. There's Glenn's helping us out with some geography at Campbelltown. So there's a couple of things you can get. You can get at Campbelltown. You can get photos of birds and plants at Mount Annan Botanic Gardens. You can get really good kebabs from memory. Last time I was there, and you can also get your car stolen. So there we go. There's my Campbelltown joke. What else have we got here? Wood sandpiper,
Woody Sands.
Terek sandpiper, painted button quail.
Wow, that's a good one, the Woody Sands. But you
Yeah,
see, to get a lot of these sandpipers at the moment, or shorebirds, everything's now beginning the southward dispersal.
yeah,
So we're going to get a
that's
lot
right.
of odd things popping up here and there.
That's right. If you're out there with a scope pointed at a
Yeah,
beach or a
getting right
permanent
amongst it.
waterway,
Yeah.
you could be getting anything. I wouldn't have put a Caspian tern as rare.
Barnes Road. Where's Murray?
I don't know where Murray is. I was going to look that up in a minute. But the blackback bittern, that's a nice one. Now Stephen Edwards has counted that in the morning and in the afternoon at Sydney Park in Sydney. So
Sydney
wonder
Park's quite a place to get a rarity, you know.
I wonder if it's still there. Then the striated heron in Penrith, that's a nice
I
one.
feel like I need to go there.
Yeah, that's a nice one. The striated heron in Penrith. Pacific bazza. That's
In
again
Osprey in Irvington, that's a good
Royal
call.
Botanic Gardens in the city.
Pacific Buzzer.
Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it?
Completely. I'm more
In the
surprised
city?
at an osprey in Irvington.
Oh, yeah. Mangrove platform, but I guess that one and the bazza. I mean, this will be a good one to talk about. What I told you I was going to bring up once we get through a few more. Masked owl in Lismore is nice. Again, two people. But they're obviously going together, I would say, at the same time, at the same place. What do we got? Barking
Well,
owls?
yeah, masked owl falls under the category of it's just not often seen.
Yeah.
Does that make it rare
Well,
numerically or rare in terms of being seen?
I think it's listed as endangered, so I'll give that. Barking owl, Southwest Rocks at Kempsey, and it looks like everyone was
A lot
on
of people
a
have been turning up for that.
well, it was all at the same. Oh, it wasn't all at the same time. No, there we are. I'm guessing a few of them were at the same time. They're
I'm just
probably.
wondering, what's the thing stakeout?
I
Barking
think
out.
they were staking it out,
Yeah,
looking for
that's
the
what I'm getting the
barking
impression
owls.
of. A lot of people have been staking it out.
Oh, don't stress them out, please,
Oh, the
if you're doing a
redback kingfisher.
stakeout.
Yeah, I noticed this one.
Redback kingfisher. Oh well, this is
That's a good sighting.
yeah. This was what I was saving up for Glenn's sightings. Redback
Yeah,
kingfisher
almost
at Mount
vagrant
Adam.
in its
Yeah,
way.
nice one. Um, uh, uh, um, oh, g'day Shane. Nice to see you again. We'll get to Shane's got a favourite bird of mine at just south of Campbelltown, near Picton. So we'll get to that in a minute too. Let's just scroll through this list. It's all redback kingfishers. Well, people are getting very excited about
No,
that
you
one.
get excited about it, didn't you? Look at that.
Yeah, look at that. Everyone's gone to have a look. Whoa.
You just got to go
Okay.
and be out there.
Gee. Forest kingfisher at
Yeah.
Inverell. That's a nice one. And
Is it rare in Inverell to get a forest kingfisher?
I wouldn't have thought it was like
I would have thought
rare.
that's range.
That would be
right.
that would be about where you start getting fories, wouldn't it? Rather than sacreds.
Oh, you get them a bit south of there. I've had them much further south.
Black
I think
falcon.
one turned up in Sydney not long ago, actually, a week or two back, didn't it?
I don't know, but the black falcon is always a good get.
Pretty much forest kingfisher country.
But
anyway, they've made the call based on their data.
Yep. Now, long-billed corella in West Albury. Now, I've recounted this story lots of times before, Ricki, but when I was a kid, you never saw long-billed corellas in Melbourne. They were Western Victorian birds, and in 30 years, it's probably about 30 years ago, I first saw one in Pakenham, east of Melbourne, and now they are the dominant corella and cockatoo in my part of Melbourne, and I'm in the northwestern suburbs. So there's a big flock of little corellas that don't really come to my place, but they live within 10 k's of here. But the big white parrot you're most likely to see around here is a long-billed corella.
Well, that's interesting. I was in Melbourne a couple of weeks ago and didn't see any corellas.
Well, they're all over here.
I was only there for a day. It was just fly in, fly out. But as I do my jet-setting lifestyle,
would have been in the city, so you were probably more likely to see a peregrine falcon in the city than a long-billed corella in the city.
I was at Melbourne Zoo for the day.
Oh, nice. Well, let's just scoot through the rest of these before we get to another location.
Cockatiel, Barnett's and Kempsey. Oh, yeah.
Cockatiel, I reckon that's a great one. Turquoise parrot. Now, let me see.
Penrith Weird, that is a good sighting.
Yeah, and look, notice the second person on the list, right? And look what we've got here.
Has deigned to visit.
There we are. Good on you, Vicky. I'm glad you got some photos.
Yeah, Turk's a good sighting here.
So tell me, it was one turquoise parrot. I better look in the details. I'll look in Vicky's details and see what have we got. Is it a male or there we are. Very nice. There's Vicky's photos. Oh, we've got photos from a few people. Uh, oh yeah, nice shots. Obviously
Lovely.
in the same spot. Okay. Um, single
Oh,
female.
nice.
Single female. Very flighty. Let's see what other details people have got. More photos. Female roosting in casuarinas and feeding in grass. So very, very nice. Um,
That's
Stewart
very
Town.
unusual.
Stewart Town, Wellington. Now I know where Wellington
Okay,
is in New
yeah.
South
I'm
Wales.
getting out
I
towards
would
Dubbo Way.
I would not have thought that the Australian ringneck, the Mallee ringneck, was rare up there. I would have thought it was an occasional visitor.
Yeah, you'd
Um,
think it would be a blow-in, but there you go.
Bell,
Probably, again, not according to eBird's data.
Bell Ranald, rainbow lorikeet. Scaly breasted by rainbow lorikeet hybrid. I want to see a photo of this.
That's cool.
Well, here we are. Let's have a look. Um,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure I'm calling that as a hybrid. I'm not sure.
Let's have a...
It does have the scalloping on the breast, but
Yeah.
look at the back. Look at the nape. Yeah, the nape certainly looks like.
She consults the field guide now.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. I wonder what people think.
Yeah, it's got a lot of green under the throat there. Yeah, no, she's probably on the money there, you know.
Yeah, well, nice one, Heather. Nice one. Yeah, nice one. All right. Green catbird in Ku-ring-gai. Would that be a rarity? I don't know.
No.
No.
No, but just again, that would probably come down to eBird's data because not many sightings.
Yeah. Well,
A lot of people don't pick up green catbirds. Their numbers are larger than people think because they all listen for that iconic call of theirs.
Yeah, but sometimes they're just sitting in the
little tiny pip pip pip. They make a really tiny call, and they do it every time they land. So they move from branch to branch looking for their food, and they make this little tiny, very high little pipping call every time they land. And once you tune into that, you see them everywhere.
But sometimes they just sit. Sometimes they don't move. They'll just be hanging out. So
yeah. Well, what's their Latin name? It's crassirostris. You know, there's a great big, what I call a chonk of a bill.
Yeah.
I think crassirostris translates as chonk of a bill, and they I don't know. They're just a big chunky bird. They're pretty hard to miss.
Yeah. Well,
I guess if they're hiding in some vine scrub, perhaps, yeah, they might be a little difficult. But I know I see a lot of them where I go to.
Now, you'd know the Royal Botanic Gardens in Sydney better than I do. Variegated fairy wren. Is that a...
I would say the Royal Botanic Gardens is a better place to get a superb fairy wren.
Okay, so it's probably not the fairy wren of choice in that location.
No. With all due respect to Gopi Krishna, I don't know what his qualifications as a birder are, because sometimes a lot of people can't tell their fairy wrens apart. But if he's a regular birder, then he's got himself an interesting sighting. If he's misidentified it, well.
But I do like this. Gopi, well done.
Says picture taken.
If you ever listen to this, reach out, and you've noted picture taken. Love to see it.
Is there anything more under details? Can you click on the details and see what he's...
I did. That's it.
Picture taken.
That's it. That's it.
Wow,
and while I'm yapping, Kemp Killaby and Shane Cheney, thanks for the... Shane, Cheney or Cheney? What do you prefer? let me know. Facebook like. So thanks very
Yeah,
much.
I would love to hear from Gopi if he ever does come across this, just to maybe
If you know
see
Gopi,
what he
give him a
does.
nudge. Give him a nudge.
Yeah, I'd love to know if there are variegateds in there, because you get that is a real superb fairy wren environment.
Now,
Um,
Ricki, one of your favourite locations, Kapiti National Park, just out of Lithgow.
yeah,
Look at this one.
yeah,
So that's a beauty.
that's
Well
a
done,
good
John
bird.
Brown, Regent Honey Eaters. So it's always encouraging when they're out and about. Now, are they on the same day? No, that's over 2 days, and it's two Regent Honey Eaters over 2 days in Kapiti. So that's a ripper.
Yeah, good
Um,
one.
very good.
Crimson pelican.
Let's
It's
go.
not that
Man, geez, we're still rocking through these. I'm not gonna.
Robin
I won't
Davis.
discuss. I won't discuss all of them now because we've got to get to a few others. But let's look at the notables. The painted honeyeater in Tamworth. Call heard on 3 occasions, unable to get visual. Okay, so unconfirmed. So you'd need to know the painted honeyeater call. Not one that I know. Chestnut rumped
Yeah.
heath wren. Again, I wouldn't have thought
Yes.
that was really rare. It's just cryptic. It's hard to find.
Well, see, that would still, because of eBird's data, that would come up as rare, because it's just simply because they don't have many records in the locality.
Yeah.
That is certainly a chestnut rumped heath wren.
Yeah, and they're nice shot too, Julian Tay. Yeah, very good. There's no doubt that's what. Buff rump thornbill again in Murrumbidgee. Are they rare? 2 and 3
Right, like
over a couple of days.
buff rumped.
Unconfirmed. Yeah. I don't know. We might leave that one
I don't hang
alone.
around Yass very often, but was it
White-bellied
Yass or
cuckoo
Murrumbidgee?
shrike in Murrumbidgee on the Yanko Creek. What have we got? White-bellied cuckoo shrike. I'm not sure if I would call that rare. Varied triller in Wyong.
Range.
Varied triller in Wyong. I wouldn't have thought that was too amazing. Wood swallows. Again, wood swallows can turn up anywhere. Blackface monarch in the Royal Botanic Gardens. That's a nice one, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's Gopi. It's Gopi again. Pick taken, but not supplied. Okay.
Yeah, well, the blackface monarch, they're definitely dispersing at the moment. And I got my first couple of blackface monarchs in the last 2 days in Royal National Park. And when birds are dispersing, like I live in Woolaware, just good old suburban Woolaware. And last time earlier this year, when Rufus fantails were all heading north, I had one in my garden right outside my bedroom window, actually, for a week and a half. It's like you never get something like that. So when they're dispersing, they'll turn up anywhere.
We've got flame robins in Crookwell. Again, I wouldn't have thought they were too out of the ordinary. Eastern yellow robins in the Sydney Botanic Gardens. And then we've got
so Gopi's had a pretty good day in the gardens, but
that's right.
Eastern yellow robin, that's unusual. So maybe a lot of people aren't birding Royal Botanic Gardens.
Yeah. Golden-headed cisticola, little grassbird, rufous songbird, tawny grassbird, all cryptic birds. Nice gets. But this is one I wanted to talk about, Ricki. The forest raven at Ballina. That one would surprise me. Does that surprise you?
No.
No?
Field guide again, because forest raven, haven't I got I'm fairly sure I've got records from
up there,
part of the world.
Okay.
Yeah, forest raven.
That's good.
Oh,
Well,
sure.
Joel must be pretty confident with the call and sort of flock of three flying overhead. But
Come on.
that's a good get. If I'll leave you to do the field guide. We'll probably
I'm
both be
doing a little bit
reaching
of work. Yeah, and where
for
did
the
he
same
say?
end.
What area
It's
was that?
Alstonville, near just out of Ballina.
Well, that's in the middle of their territory.
So
The
and up
range
the
is
hill.
it's
Okay,
smack bang in the
so
middle. Like I've had forest ravens up there.
okay, well, nice, good one.
So it's
Okay,
funny that it's called rare.
yeah, it is. It is. All right, I'm going to now grab the Victorian ones before we just and I'm not going to do. We're not going to do a deep dive on all of those. We're just going to just note some of them. Now we talked about a duck
Ooh,
before,
shoveler.
Ricki. Australasian shoveler. Now
That's horrible.
Moorabool is down Geelong way, I think, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Springbank, Moorabool.
I had an Australasian shoveler at Chiltern
Yeah,
Forest,
yeah,
in a big pond or a big pond near Chiltern Forest.
yeah. I
Actually,
just
I
think
was
that.
there with my squad from uni, and Chris Hassel was among
Oh,
us. And I think he
nice,
was the first one to pick it up.
nice. Hoary-headed grebe, Yarrabend Park. So uh, that's a nice one in the city, and Torella. Oh, Torella Wetlands Maroondah. So that's the eastern suburbs out near Ringwood. Black-eared cuckoo, Moorabool. So again, down Geelong way. That's very good. Uh, Brunswick East for the pallid cuckoo. But again, we're coming into the time of the year where you expect to see them down here. Owlet Nightjar, not far from me in Melton, in the Eynesbury Forest and Grassland. That's a good spot to see them. And again, then we get the crakes. We've got the black-tailed native hen. Phillip Island. Now, I used to see them all the time down there. I don't know if they're normal nowadays. It's years since I went bird watching on Phillip Island. But sorry, it's not Phillip Island. It's Albert Park. Albert Park in the city. Okay,
Wow.
that's a good get. That is a good get. Well done, Jack Quinn Sadler and MR Nation. MR Nation. I wonder what MR Nation is. Australian crake. Nice one. Where's that? Venus Bay, South Gippsland, down in Deb territory from First Seen and Heard. Deb posts all the time on the app formerly known as Twitter. Balin's Crake, Wangaratta. See, I just
It's like Balin's crakes have been doing the rounds, or the crakes in general.
yeah, Spotless Crake. A Brolga in where? Mitchell. Okay, so that's northern Victoria. Okay, very
That
nice.
used to not be rare, I don't think. That's
No,
funny
no.
though how things later become rare. It's like, rock warbler used to be a common bird on Lady Carrington Drive in Royal National Park, and it's turned into a rarity. I got one there the other day, and if I'd put that on eBird, it possibly would have come up as being such, even though they are not uncommon in Royal National Park.
Well, I grew up down in the part of the world near Warneet Channel here, so on Western Port Bay. Sooty oyster catchers when I was a kid were not rare on
There
the
you go.
on the
So
shores
things
of
have
Western Port Bay.
changed.
Same
Yeah.
with sharp-tailed sandpipers. Painted snipe, that's a good get. Mount Alexander, Bell's Swamp,
Australian
that's a
painted
good one.
snipe with Mount Alexander, good one.
That's a very good one. Simon Starr knows his stuff. Okay. Latham Snipe in Horsham.
One,
Let's
yeah.
let's have a look. Okay. Painted button quail. That's a nice one. But again, a cryptic bird. All in the same spot. Were they all at the same time? Yes. So they were all birding together. I wonder if that was on a tour. With with Alan Boyd, maybe. Oh, look, these are all everyone together.
They had a pretty good party out there.
Yeah, couple of carloads or a small bus.
Bus, yeah,
Uh,
bus.
little button, little button quail. That's a nice one.
Mm.
That's a nice one at Swan Hill.
Anywhere
Gullbill
you can.
tern.
Mm.
Okay, gullbill tern, whiskered tern, blackback bitten again. Mildura. That's a nice one. Oh, got a photo. Okay. Um, have we got a photo? No, we've just got the call. Let's listen. You're not hearing that, are you?
I can hear it.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, well, it came through.
I'm not familiar with the call, so
Neither am I, but that's what people said. That's what Joseph Douglas said. Glossy ibis, Horsham. What else? Square-tailed kite is a good one. Again, down near Geelong, Warn Ponds. Grey goshawk, Greater Bendigo. That's a nice one. Redback kingfisher. They're obviously out and about. Central Goldfields, so up in the Bendigo area. Nice. Okay, a lot of. Oh, is that the same? Is that same? I know they're the same people. No, but it's on a tour. Oh, it's on Simon's tour. Okay, Simon Starr's tour. Oh wow, look at that. Black Falcon, Northern Grampians. Oh, that's a good spot. Red-tailed black cockatoos, Horsham, very nice. Gang cockatoo in Melbourne. That's a very nice one. Blue-winged parrot, Darebin. Well, that's a nice one. That's not too far from me. I saw a blue-winged parrot near where I live. When did I move in here? 2014, and I saw one in 2015. Never seen one again, but I saw one just near, only 150 metres from my place, perched in a casuarina. Never seen it. Never seen another one here again. I want the Crimson versus Eastern Rosella hybrid. We got to see this.
Wow, a white cheek and a blue cheek, yeah.
Okay, so it's a bit blue on
because
that.
a bit of blue in the cheek.
Bit blue on that side. More white on this side.
Okay. Shoulders. Those shoulders have me thinking. Let me just have a look at this bird.
Yeah,
Well, I think he's onto something here.
Oh, they're the same photos. The same photos.
Yeah.
Queenscliff. Are you convinced?
Oh.
The definitely the blue in the cheek patch, but I've seen Eastern Rosellas looking pretty scruffy like that before, but yeah.
Because I guess he's going off. There's a little bit of red in across the mantle, the upper back area.
Yeah. That's the
the
unusual.
Yeah, look, there's got to be a little bit of crimson going on in there. So yeah, good one.
Yeah,
I reckon that whoever called that Craig is on the money.
Craig Morley, very nice. Yeah. Well, eBird have ticked it off. So
yeah, I reckon anyone who's reasonably astute would look at that and say yeah. So I would bow to their call on that.
So here's that bird tour group again, Singing Honey Eater, up near Bendigo.
Central Goldfields. Is that a rarity up there?
Well, I mean it's within the range if you look in the bird books.
Oh yeah.
But it's not one. It's not one of the ones you would expect to see. Same with the yellow plumed honeyeater. I mean, it's within its range.
That would be like a common bird, even. Oh, yellow plumed honeyeater.
Yeah, yellow plumed.
The west.
the
That's a good
scarlet
one.
honey eater. I'm calling it. I'm
Yeah,
never
what's
gonna.
this? Why have we seem to have reverted to calling it a Myzomala,
Yeah.
which is the old
Well.
name.
Yeah.
Looks like
Uh,
eBird adopted that.
Now the blue-faced honey eater. I did see a few people
It's such a
put
random. Yeah,
putting that down.
yeah.
Um,
Frybird.
See pilot bird at King Lake. Yeah, maybe it's a little bit dry, but white brown scrub wren. Who's calling the white brown scrub wren a rare bird in
Central
Bendigo?
Gold. Where's
Southern,
Central Gold? Where's Central Goldfields? Can you
ne-
hang on to
yeah,
that there?
near Bendigo.
That is out of its range, you know. Like that, you find them a bit along the Murray and getting towards Albury area. Um, but let me just have a quick squeeze at this. Oh, you know it is. That is out of its range.
Okay, nice
That's
one.
a pretty cool find.
Sun whiteface in the same spot.
Oh
Uh,
well, yeah, that's a good one too.
Spotted quail thrush down Tyers Park down in the Latrobe Valley. I like who saw that. Bird dude. Well done, bird dude. Olive Whistler at Banyule. Now, Banyule is near Ivanhoe in northeastern suburbs of Melbourne.
Oh,
I
is that
think
rare?
that's a good. Well, it probably is rare these days, but it's the right kind of habitat if you're in. I would have thought, and then you've got Maroondah, which is Ringwood, outer eastern suburbs, eastern golden whistle scene there. So yeah, I reckon
Golden Whistler. Okay. Greater
golden
Bendigo.
whistler, golden whistler in Bendigo. Well, yeah, I don't reckon. I mean, you're more likely to see a rufus there, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a
Looks like a
golden.
lot of people have gone out to get onto it though. But so it
Yeah,
must be pretty uncommon. And of course,
very.
these are only going to appear as rare birds if they are pinged by, the sightings. But this is sightings again.
Yeah, that's right. Now here's two. Uh, well, I'll live back to Oriole. Not usual for this time of year down here for sure, but also in Kingston, which is on Bayside, southeastern suburbs. That was a good one, I reckon. And the Australasian fig bird in the Botanic Gardens in Melbourne. Good
That's
one.
rarity there, is it?
Well, not usual. Yeah, I've seen fig birds in not in the Botanic Gardens, but I have seen fig birds in the eastern suburbs, but not for years. So maybe what we were talking about before we started about the influence of what might happen with the with El Nino, and we've had that effect with bushfires in the last 5 to 10 years that are pushing birds out because their habitat is altered. They move. So maybe it's not that not that unexpected to get some of those. Now let's get a couple of the comments up. Shane has had the bush stone curlews south of Campbelltown, so I reckon that's a beauty. Naomi, hello Naomi. Square-tailed kite in the Blue Mountains. That's a good one.
That's a good one. Yeah.
I hope you got a photo so you could tell eBird that you got it and they could agree with you. Can't really mistake a square-tailed kite if you get a good look at them because they got a square tail. And they don't really look like any other raptor when you see them if they're wheeling around or circling above you because of that square tail. What else we got? White-breasted wood swallows up in the Bendigo region. Mask wood swallow, Greater Geelong. Midiamo's up northwest of Bendigo. Terrick National Park. That's where you can sometimes find plains wanderer up that way. Very good. White-browed wood swallow. On on the western side, Brisbane Rangers National Park, the southwestern side of Port Phillip Bay. Some fantastic grevilleas found in that Brisbane Rangers National Park.
Yeah, dusky bushfire. All right, okay.
Queenscliff. So, yeah, well, there's a lot happening down in that Geelong area at the moment, that greater Geelong area. Duskies as well. Scarlet Robin, Port Phillip. Now, again, this is one of those birds that you used to regularly see in Melbourne, Scarlet Robin, and this time of year they would start turning up. Rose Robin. Oh, Greens Bush.
That's a really... we know them as an altitudinal migrant.
Yeah.
That must be really rare down there.
But that particular patch of bush is like parts of it are wet sclerophyll, and the upper parts of it are really nice dry sclerophyll forest on ridges. That wouldn't surprise me. Again, I grew up down there, and Greens Bush was a place I used to love going as a kid because it was real bush.
Just this time of year, I would have thought they'd be all up in the mountains.
Well,
because that's what I know about them.
We haven't had very cold nights here in Melbourne this winter, so they might be coming down quicker, earlier.
Well, you see, they come to it's not winter anymore. That's the thing.
No,
it's
no.
So I would be moving up into the cooler mountains.
Yeah. Let's see. What have we got? Details. Let's see. Matt Peterson. I don't know Matt on eBird. What's Matt got for us? Clearly seen and heard. Okay.
Yeah, if you see a rose robin, you've seen it. Except for that rather odd call about a pink robin being in Heathcote, which wasn't a pink robin in Heathcote. Good sighting.
Okay, so pink robin in Maroondah, east of Melbourne.
Nice
red
call.
cap robins. Okay, I reckon those red cap robins are good. They're good sightings. What do we got? Let's have a look at
Victoria. That's a good one. Red cap robin. Always a favourite, aren't they? Such a beautiful bird.
Yep, no doubt about that one. Nice shots. Okay.
I like the little one that's added with the beak cleaning.
Horsefield's bushlark.
Yeah, that
brown songlark. They're good ones, but good in that a lot of people don't identify them. But that's a really good get. Again, a group of people again.
A lot of people in many parts of Victoria would see a bushlark and go, "There's a sparrow," wouldn't they?
Yeah. I think birders get
birders
right.
Would be across it?
Tawny grass birds. Okay, let's whiz through.
Wow, a lot of them.
Fairy martin. Well, again, fairy martin.
Wow, all right.
Fairy martin, I wouldn't have thought. Flying through in a flock of swallows. I wouldn't have thought that was particularly
there you
unusual.
Go. Not often at all.
Okay, I want to go to the Facebook group that had Facebook Victoria. Let's go to this one. We on there? Okay. So there were some good ones here, I thought. Some of the photos here. There's the red-backed kingfisher, but this is the one that impressed me. Now, white-headed pigeon at Red Hill. Now, Red Hill is about 10 k's away from that bit where we're talking about Greens Bush. So it's still that forested, heavily wooded part of the Mornington Peninsula. So I reckon that's a beauty. Coming to the bird feeder.
Nice one.
Yeah, so that was my favourite one. And then people taking... And a lot of these are photos from the list that we've just been looking at. So grass birds, white-browed wood swallows in Geelong. What else have we got here? Blueface. This was a good one. Blueface honeyeaters in Bundoora. Now, Bundoora is where La Trobe University is, but this is like a deciduous fruit tree or something. So, question. Can't say I've seen them this far south before. Is it a common occurrence? Simon Starr says, not common, but have seen over the last few years. Julie McLennan had them in her garden in Greensborough. Now, Greensborough is not terribly far from Bundoora, so that's not a bad one. There's the square-tailed kite, and you can see what I mean about the square tail. And that was at Gruyere. Now, Gruyere is on the eastern side of Western Port, not on the coast, but heading towards. Well, I guess it's in the Dandenongs. Yeah, so it's on that fringe of the Dandenong Mountains. So
it's funny how they seem to be just turn up anywhere, these birds. Like, we get calls about them being around Sydney now and again. It's just like, wow.
Now, remember last time we had a look, there was a pied butcher bird, and someone had made the comment about, great, another predator of small birds, of little birds coming into Melbourne.
Small birds.
Yeah, but there's another reason for wrens to be terrified. So that's in the Moonee Ponds Creek. That's right near me, Tullamarine Airport. Now, I heard
a lot of these people that go to their plate, pull out the knife and fork and carve up a steak, complaining about a bird eating a small bird. I mean, really?
I'm not complaining. Here we go. That's what. This must be the one. This must be the one we were looking at last time, because Peter Menkos here made the point: colonisation of Melbourne by yet another large, aggressive carnivore.
We created the habitat for them.
And the brown cuckoo dove. Okay, so that was all of those. Let me. What have we got here? Which one will we go to next? You want to do South Africa, or do you want to do British Columbia, or do you want to do the rare bird alerts of the UK?
Wow, British Columbia sounds interesting.
Okay, let's go to British Columbia in Canada. Okay. Now, of course...
Seems like it's so many Canadians coming on birdwatching tours these days. It's kind of...
But the interesting thing looking at these ones is I've got no idea whether these are notable or not, right? So, because I'm not really that familiar. I'll just, before we get going, Naomi is saying she's coming down to Victoria soon, going to go to the sewage treatment plant down at Werribee. So, yeah, you'll get some good stuff there, no doubt.
Maybe someone might want to show her around even.
Well, you can pick me up and we'll go birding. So, British Columbia. Reed or Pallas's bunting in Squamish. I don't know where that is, but
we're not seeing that on the screen. We're still looking at Birdline, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Share this tab instead. Here we go. Now you're looking at it. There we are. So, not sure whether it's a Reed or Pallas's bunting, but it would be a first record for either species in British Columbia. So that's a good get.
I'm not at all familiar with either of those birds.
No, it's a sparrowish looking bird.
Yeah.
Chestnut-sided warbler.
The
90th record for British Columbia. Now so I reckon that would make it notable, right?
I love how people like the 90th record and it's I remember once getting the 13th record of the Eurasian curlew up at Broome, and while I was watching that, what was it? Some kind of black-headed gull flopped in the water right, right in front. I think it was a Franklin's gull. Flopped in the water straight in front of me while I'm cheering. I'm getting this curlew, and then I look. I'm like, what the hell?
I think it was they were all going crazy for Sabine's goal last time I looked. So,
No.
but the interesting thing here is that they're noting these are birds where they've seen them on sites not open to the public. So the last two.
So does that really make it a proper rarity or a place that's rarely visited and the birds are there commonly?
I don't know, but it was banded. So they're banded at a bird observatory, but
Nice
it's a site not open to the public, so it must only be open to researchers or it's like a bird club or something like that is going in there.
Yeah.
Now that one, ash-throated flycatcher, private property. Black Phoebe. I love these names. I like this Black Phoebe because it looks like the black robin in New Zealand a little bit.
Yeah, it's a beauty, isn't it?
So where this was seen at the Rifle Bird Sanctuary, there's a admission for adults, so it's a pay to get in there. Entrance is by reservation booking only, and there's a link there where you can go and make a booking. So if you're in British Columbia in Canada, get out there. Chestnut-sided warbler.
Yeah.
Let's see. A northern parula. That's a nice name, isn't it? A northern parula. I wonder.
Sounds like a name of a New Guinea bird, really, doesn't it? A parula.
I wonder if its genus is parula. Snowy plover. These are always good. And it was Plover Appreciation Day back around then. 43rd record.
Well, I love all these little plovers. So
yes, and that's the 43rd record for British Columbia. So that's not.
It's a nice cat.
Short-tailed shearwater.
Short-tailed
albatross. What was it saying?
Look at that bill.
Yeah, that's a chonker,
Right,
isn't it?
near into whatever it came near.
The bird was banded on the left leg, and it's been sent to a researcher in Japan. So that's nice, isn't it? So it was banded. Someone in Japan is looking at them, so good.
You bet.
What have we got here?
Another chestnut-sided. Oh, clearly, there's some kind of migratory movements going on there, huh?
Yep. Found in a small mixed flock of chickadees and kinglets. So yeah, probably on that. What would they be doing now? They'd be doing their southern migration, wouldn't they?
Yeah. Heading for warmer climes.
Another black phoebe, but that is not coloured up. That one. So
it might be female. Could be a female, or could it just be immature, or
44th record for BC for British Columbia. So there we go.
I love that they know, like 44th.
So that's it for the last for their weekly update. So will we go to we'll go to the eBird South African rare bird alerts because I like looking at the South African ones.
More mallards.
More mallards.
Balaam's
helmeted guinea fowl. Now, they got the crakes out there. Oh, the grey crowned crane. That's a
beautiful bird.
Ruddy turnstone. See, I don't know whether the lesser blackback gull or Saunders tern are fantastic sightings up there, but down there, across there. Antarctic tern, Manx shearwater, osprey. palm nut vulture. I would be pretty impressed if I saw a palm nut vulture. Unconfirmed. Let's see what the notes say. On a raffia palm in seed. So they must feed on them. There is a fruiting raffia palm on the farm which attracts palm nut vultures on occasion. Okay, so it's probably a regular visitor to that site. European honey buzzard, long crested eagle. Oh, I did see some photos.
If it's a photo, that would be impressive. I've never seen one, so I'd love to see
these are. So it's in flight. I'll look it up. Will Wilson posted some long crested eagles, and he's in Rwanda recently. So Cape Eagle Owl. No one's got photos for. Just got details. I'm looking for one with photos.
Black-billed wood hoopoe. That sounds interesting.
A mule falcon.
I don't know a lot of these birds, so it's like, whoa.
But a lot of these are migrants. So here we are, the Amur falcon, first of the spring. So black-bellied starling. I want to see a photo of the black-bellied starling among dark starlings. Okay. Recently identified here, nesting pair. Okay. Purple banded sunbird. Please give us a photo. Male singing, expanding region, expanding range. Male singing, have photo. Have photo, but I won't show you. Have photo, won't show you.
What is that?
And the African golden weaver, common resident, but it's in the rare birds. Okay, that was pretty nice.
What's going on in the old dart?
In the old dart. Let's have a look at the old dart. Where are we?
See, those boobies are hanging around still.
Rare Bird Alert UK. Okay, share this one instead. That's August 2023. I think we want it to... I want to refresh that. Have we got any new ones? No. Okay. Well, they haven't updated the Rare Bird Alert. No news currently. Check back later. Okay, so nobody saw anything amazing up there. What have I got here? I'll just check if that one... Here's another one. No, nothing on that one. So that was another British one I just looked up. New post on the Bird Forum. I'm just checking before
What about this article here? They've got breeding hoopos in Leicestershire.
What are you finding that on?
I can see latest articles on the sidebar of this website.
There we are. More here. Okay.
They got a date on it. 25th of September. So yesterday.
The adult bird was found in a garden on the 17th of May. 2 days later, the pair was seen. They were not seen again during May, but was seen on several occasions later on. The birds left in early August and the juveniles departed 2 weeks later. So it's the first breeding record of hoopoe in Britain since 1996, when a pair bred in Montgomery in Wales. So, okay.
I'm kind of a little shocked they even got... I didn't know hoopos went there.
Oh, they used to be a breeding bird before most of Britain was deforested. So,
right, because I thought they were always sort of like an African and Eurasian bird.
Well,
because I've seen them in India.
In the last 100 years, for sure. But prior to that...
They were once wow, well, that's really cool.
Now,
Probably one of my better birding buddies, Nick Bishop. There, I know they're his favourite bird, and they are so gorgeous and so jaunty.
okay. I am just. I'm going to share this one now because this was a little bit of good news from the ABC News site. ABC Mid North Coast. This was from the 3rd of September. Conservationists are celebrating the discovery of nests of one of Australia's most threatened cockatoo. For the first time in more than 20 years, glossy black cockatoos, nests have been discovered on the New South Wales Mid-North Coast. So that is good. So there's photos of them. Who have we got in the glossy squad? The citizen science involved in a project around Nambucca, Ballingen, Coffs Harbour and the Clarence Valley.
I feel like I need a Glossy Squad T-shirt.
It's a good one, the Glossy Squad T-shirt.
Glossy Squad.
Yeah. But I guess you only get one if you're in the
actually in the Glossy Squad.
Yeah. But yeah, 60 citizen scientists, 1,000 hours of volunteer time. So that's good. Very, very good news as far as I can tell. There's not many of. Here's how to find the birds. Like the birds come in to drink water each evening and can be seen at watering holes. There's not many of them around. They move around a lot. So keep your.
They're one of those birds that if we have another bad year of fires or a couple of years of fires, we'll be in real strife.
But it's one of the things where that's why we need to think about expanding the suitable plantings for birds like this. Just outside the known range, so that if they need to move, they do move, there'll be a food source.
I'm a real fan of the idea of using travelling stock routes as corridors.
Old rail trails.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff.
Every major roadside,
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Now there's a video here, so why don't we play it? I don't know what it does. Let's have a look. That was a clumsy landing.
I love a big skunking great bill.
I like how they've got the yellow on the cheek and then the red in the tail. It's like they couldn't make up their mind which species they wanted to be.
Designed by committee. Look at that. What a beaut bird.
Nice video footage too, by the way. So there we are. Yeah, well, they're
Chucking right in the casuarinas, aren't they? Yeah.
Yep. So good on you, Alex Pike, for making the video available to the ABC and ABC
nice footage,
making it available to the rest of us. So that's great. Just trying to see what else. Now, I'm not sure if this is the same birds. So let's have a look. This is from the Central Coast Council, and they have glossy black cockatoo spotted at Doyle Street. 2021. Oh, I didn't realise that was such an old Kincumber. Oh no, so that's not the same one. Sorry about that. we'll knock that off. Now let's have a look. I'm going to have a look at. I wanted to do this just because. Uh, there we are. Rare bird alerts for the Philippines in the past 7 days. Now, there's only 2 species, and I think that is a bit like what we were saying, or we've been inferring, that if there aren't that many people out there looking, they can't be recording them because they're not looking, they're not seeing them.
Yeah, you kind of get the sense there aren't that many people out there birding.
So the oriental plover is from the area south of Davao on Mindanao. So that would be the southeast quadrant of the island of Mindanao. And then the brown shrike, one record is from the capital region of Manila, which is on the main island of Luzon on the eastern side of it, and then brown shrike on Cebu, which is another one of the main islands. So let's have a look. We've got a photo of the plover. Nice shot. Look at that. It looks like a bird missing the lower half of its leg.
Yeah, come to a little grief.
Yeah. But no comment about it. Let's have a look. Is there a comment about it? No. Details. No. Okay. Brown shrike. Error.
Oh, looks like it's got a picky.
Oh, here we go. We've got, yeah. Now, I reckon I saw brown shrikes when I was in the Philippines last time. They've got chonking bills too when you see them.
Yeah, pretty stout.
Yeah. They're kind of a cross between our shrike thrush and a butcher bird. When you see them, they're looking to pick off like a lizard or a big cricket or a little bird if they can get hold of it. So I wanted to show you that one. What else did I want to show you? We've done New South Wales. We'll have a look at some of the other states in other weeks.
Yes, I've got to clear out around about 4:30 again today, unfortunately. So
well, we're not far off finishing.
We've kind of like covered the. Yeah, I would like to see a bit what's going on in WA, South Australia, Queensland.
Well, we'll do WA and maybe South Australia next time. Hey,
is it time for this again? For this angst?
It is. It's the Australian Bird of the Year is up for nominations. Opened yesterday, I believe. A poll's open on the 25th. Maybe no. Yeah, they opened yesterday. So hit the Guardian. The Guardian.
Spotted pardalote, people. Spotted pardalote.
The last poll, it's biannual apparently. So the last poll, the superb fairy wren narrowly beat the tawny frogmouth and the gang cockatoo.
It used to be that like Willy Wagtail was the bird, and then then the fairy wren.
So let's see. So you can fill in a nomination form. Asking you to put stuff in. Oh, let's have a look. Can we put in TikToks? Allow TikTok. It's not showing at all. Okay. Oh, here we go. Oh, that's right. No, I did this the other day with Holly. Okay. That's all I'm doing with that one. So we'll stop that sharing. That's done. So The Guardian. So that's
Yeah.
theguardian.com, and just go and nominate. Now Naomi's having what's Naomi's just making a point about eBird. On the eBird app, can't load photos. Well,
Oh,
yeah, I think it's a matter of them letting you do it. I think Naomi, maybe just get onto them again and say it's broken. It's broken.
do you have any other viewers lists that we should go through?
Haven't got any more. Haven't got any more comments or suggestions from anyone. So we'll leave it open for a minute or two. If someone else has got something they would like to tell us about, I'll plug now. Ricki, have you cleared a date in your diary for the next time we're going to have a look at these?
I've just got to check in with my zoo life, but
Okay.
yeah, I will get back to you very soon.
Okay, well, folks, just make sure that you are following the Bird Emergency either on Facebook or YouTube, or Grant Bird Nerd on Twitch, and that way you will get notified when I put it up. And I'll explain to people I haven't been doing my first seen and heard because I'm working through where I'm going to put stuff. I'm really there's so many reasons not to be on Twitter anymore. You just don't get seen by many people. So I'm thinking I'll move most of the efforts for first seen and heard over to TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. I think that's where I will put most of that effort, and I'll try and do more short stuff about some of the little birds and little news segments that I see. So in between Ricki and I catching up with you with where we run through the rare bird alerts, I'll sort of do a little TikTok or YouTube short for little interesting news bits that I see, like Tanya Plibersek releasing a recovery plan but not talking to the recovery team about it. Little stuff like that.
Was that? Are you having a dig?
well, it's what she did about the Swift parrot. She released the recovery plan, but didn't say.
Yeah. Didn't consult.
And as far as the recovery team knew, it hasn't been finalised. But she released it and said, "This is our final recovery plan." But there's no mention, or very little mention in it on stopping forest habitat reduction. It's just bonkers what passes for acceptable stuff.
I really struggle with so much what we're hearing today about, extinction events and how we're going to deal with it and people changing habits. And I just, I just find myself in constant bemusement that people think we'll just rely on someone else to get rid of fossil fuels and we won't think about this. And no one wants to think about their diet. No one wants to think about the people they vote in who clear forests. No one wants to, no one wants to think about a whole lot in this space. And this is a very large conversation.
Well, let's have a bit of that conversation. But first, Naomi's telling us why people are putting on eBird. I have pics because they can't upload them. Okay, so eBird, get onto that. eBird support, get onto that. I was just thinking today, Ricki, I was looking at my shopping list and it's a couple of, I think I'm coming into my second year of not buying any meat. I just don't, I categorise myself as flexitarian. Like if I go somewhere and there's, food provided or something, and it's got a little sliver of something in it that is meat, I'll eat it. but they've already bought it. They've already done it. They've already prepared it. But I don't go anywhere and order it, and I don't buy it. Soy milk, lentils, tofu, chickpeas. It's pretty easy to eat pretty well, and I mean I'm wasting away, as you can tell.
Well, I saw the light with all this stuff in about 1974.
Well, but that's the thing, Ricki. What we need to do is positively nudge people just to make a bit of a change. But in the meantime, we've got to stop promoting. It's a big conversation. Like we were sort of saying before we clicked about, we're saying we need to reduce greenhouse gases and we need to save water in this nation, but we still want to push the cattle industry. Well, we should be transitioning people out of the cattle industry.
Yeah.
That would be, and to stop burning fossil fuels, to stop exporting coal. If we could do that, if we could transition our economy to not be reliant on those two things, we'd make a massive contribution to the world.
Well, the amount of land clearing that goes on here and in other nations, that, it's like we remove trillions of organisms from the ocean every year and throw back 45% of that as bycatch, and our oceans are teetering on the brink. And this idea that there's a thing called seafood, we are not a marine predator.
No,
and we are a little herbivorous little monkey person.
And that's the other thing I was going to mention. I don't, like if I go out, I don't order anything that's got seafood in it anymore. And I used to buy salmon, like as I was transitioning off meat, I was buying seafood and looking at, oh yes, it's farmed salmon and everything. And then you have a look at how they feed salmon. They feed salmon with fish.
Yeah, they go and catch fish, and because it's a terribly polluting and nasty industry.
That's right. They feed chicken with fish. They feed the chickens with fish.
Yes. They feed cows with fish.
That's right. And
one of the world's greatest marine predators is, good old bossy
the cow. That's right. And the idea that people just fish on their own shorelines and feed their population. No, they're out. The factory ships are destroying every part of the world's
The global industrial fishing industry needs to shut down, and people should feel guilty about going out and doing cruel things to fish anyway with fishing lines, in my view. And I'm not going to ever retreat from this or say or be a shrinking violet about this. Everyone should go plant-based, which means they should stop eating meat, fish, chicken, eggs, and dairy.
Yep.
That will be the biggest step towards a positive solution for our global environment.
Yep. And just on the energy taken to produce a gram of protein in the animal-based industries or the plant-based industries, they just don't compare.
And water.
That was the next thing. If you add the water deficit to the energy deficit, it's a no-brainer. And like you say, we've known it for 50 years, but we have really powerful industries that are reliant on us consuming animal product. And
no one wants to take that personal responsibility to understand that we can be better stewards of this world. And, yes, H2 Rider, I agree. Yeah. But we can become better stewards of this planet and the animals we share it with by moving to a plant-based diet. And it is easy. Everybody can do this.
It's super easy. Have a look at me. Do you reckon I'm starving? It's.
I turned 65 a month ago, and I'm walking around still with six-pack abs.
Yeah. Well,
I'm still crushing it. And
I haven't found it hard at all, difficult at all, what you need to do is find some recipes of stuff that you like to eat. Luckily, I like making dals and curries
Oh, they're great.
and
Yeah.
and and anything like that, and it's really easy to mix up. You know, it's just so easy to do if you put tofu
You
in.
don't have to make a special effort to get protein. No one is starved of protein anywhere. What people lack is fibre. Now,
And
you
and
should be saying, where do you get your fibre? Or when people say to me, where do you get your protein? I say, where do you get your fibre?
yes, that's right. You get your fibre from eating
Plants
plant-based
only,
stuff,
yeah. And we
and
should know our entire gut microbiome
yeah,
feeds on fibre. And without it, our immune system's not in the best shape.
no, that's right. And the only other thing, I mean, I'm on really regular blood work and CT scans and stuff since I had my kidney removed when I had cancer. That's a whole other story. But the only thing that is ever picked up with me, and it's like most Australians, vitamin D, right? So the only
Oh,
so we're nearly all vitamin D deficient,
yeah.
and the
And
best way to
B12.
get yeah, and the well, I'm all right. I'm all right with my vitamin B. I don't know why that is.
No,
Um,
B12 it is.
yeah, yeah. Well, B12. I'm the only
When you
thing that I need more of is time in the sun without getting burned to lift up your vitamin D, and it's especially necessary for me because I'm operating on one kidney, and that I don't understand it all. But without the vitamin D, you don't absorb everything you need from
yeah.
from the food that you're eating. So there you go. So that's been great. Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah,
thanks.
anyway, that's an area that I'm very, very passionate on.
Yeah.
I don't make much noise about it, but I should. But what can I say? It is, and because for most people, it's very unwelcome conversation if you start talking about what they're eating. And it is hard to meet people where they are all the time on this and try and make it a conversation that's helpful for people. But it's something we've got to start thinking and talking about.
And it's confronting to think about
Yeah.
the most basic thing you do, which is nourish yourself, is a major contributor to the problems that we're trying to solve. And it's a bit like what they always did with, well, they do it with everything. It's always, well, it's like plastic recycling or plastic. They say, well, you can recycle your plastic. You can collect it and recycle it. Whereas I go, no, but you can stop producing it and putting shit in plastic, and then we wouldn't have to deal with the plastic.
With none of it's recyclable practically. This is like
that's right. It's nearly not recyclable. and sometimes it's recyclable, but it takes more energy to recycle it than it does to produce new stuff, which is why they produce new stuff and don't recycle it.
Why don't we encourage farmers to get out of animal agriculture, get into hemp, and of the myriad hemp products you can make is a kind of plastic that completely breaks down, a compostable plastic.
Yeah, well, there are lots of.
Here we are. Industries we could open in rural centres if we had going on. Oh yeah, Seaspiracy.
Yeah, I was going to say it's been out for a number of years now, but yeah, if you haven't seen it, check it out. It's confronting. Seaspiracy. There's a number. Look, I might do a show. I might even get it together for next Monday. I might pull together a bunch of really good docos that people should.
There's some good ones. Well, Earthlings is really hard to watch, but like they say, it's we should not turn our eyes from what they have to feel with their bodies.
Yeah,
it is. It's a tough view. And plastics and fossil fuels.
Well, there are no plastics without fossil fuels.
With all of the old school agriculture stuff, we spray those pesticides and herbicides. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there's another one made in Australia a few years back that was quite good. Just trying Dominion. Dominion is an excellent Aussie-based one, and of course there's the that one. What was it? The athlete one, the vegan athlete. I should send. I'll send you a list, Grant.
Send me the ones you know of, and folks in the riot squad who are watching along. If you've got one that you know of that you think would be good sharing, submit at thebirdemergency.com or submission at thebirdemergency.com. Send it in to me, your suggestions, and we'll maybe do a couple of days where we do watch-alongs. I'll see if I can get permission to do a watch-along. Otherwise, I'll chop them up and we'll do like reactions to clips.
Well, the one, it is very. Always found I can watch any of them, but Earthlings was tough. And here I'm like, I've not eaten an animal since 1974, but I watch it when they just throw that poor dog in the back of the dumpster truck for the paddle to squash. And it was just an unwell dog found on the street, and they just picked it up and threw it in like it was garbage to the crusher. And that was just enough for me.
Yeah, well,
tough
I think
show. Very violent. What we do, we are very violent.
And we...
No, I didn't go vegan because of animal welfare thing. I went because of the environment.
Yeah, I didn't go basically veggie because of animal welfare, but it's one of the things that helps you just stay and never go back because you can...
Well, we all know, don't we?
But when I was at uni, I worked at an abattoir for a little while, and I got an infection and nearly lost my foot, and that was eye-opening just to see the callous disregard for the animals on the way in and on the way out, and then so that was eye-opening for me back then. But we tell ourselves all sorts of little fairy stories about, just think about how much damage eating at McDonald's does. Now, I don't like to just...
Probably so. I've never been to McDonald's in my life.
But I don't like to just pick out McDonald's because they're an easy target, right? But every time you eat anything fast food, if you actually look at the damage that you're doing with consuming that product, and then you're running around your house turning off your standby electricity thing, and it's like you are living in a fantasy land if you think turning off your DVD recorder at night is outweighing the last kebab you ate. It's just that simple when you look at the damage that the production of food does compared to the wasted electricity in households.
Yeah, like seeing Tesla's pulled out of the drive-through at Burger King and that kind of thing, and it's like, go and get yourself a V8, mate, and go vegan. Go and just get an old shaker and go vegan.
I think I've told the story. I've told the story too. I used to be someone who loved to get your delivery pizzas and with your 2-litre Coke or whatever, and and we used to overfill our bin every week. Now we probably wouldn't need to put our bin out every 2 months because we just never fill it because we've it's my contribution more than my housemate's because he still gets the same stuff, but just by thinking about the crap that you buy can make a huge difference. There you go, Stormy. Good on you. H2 Rider or Stormy. No worries, mate. Off you go.
See you later.
Thanks for popping in. We've both got to go.
I've got to
in
go.
a minute
Yeah, I've
anyway.
got a phone call coming any moment.
Yeah. So, Ricki will let me know when we're next doing it. Hopefully, it's about 2 weeks' time in about the same time slot. But I'll let you know. The next time, if you're into the habitat gardening stuff, the regular habitat gardening kicks off on Saturday at 9:30. That's the time I've decided, so that it gives you time to get up and have a shower, and then I'll talk to you about things that you could go and look for in your nursery, or maybe even in the supermarket, to help you build a habitat friendly, bird friendly, animal friendly garden in your locale, or helping out in public spaces if you want. Thanks,
you might
Naomi,
want
for
to talk
popping
to
in.
Ken Killaby, who's a viewer of this as well, who's a big plant man up there in Queensland who does a lot of work in this space too, I think.
Well, send me anyone that you think would be good to talk to, because I'm lining up my guests. I'm trying to do that like weeks and months ahead. The idea will be I'll talk about what I like, and I'll maybe come up with something like the top five red Banksias or something like that, right?
Sounds great.
But then I'll try and get someone from different regions, either a nursery or a public gardens manager, or someone who is, landscape architect or something, to talk about what's important in their area. So we'll try and mix it up that way. And every now and then I'll do like a challenge where I'll take myself out during the week with maybe $100 to spend and see what I would buy in a particular nursery somewhere. So that might be fun.
Sounds like a great program. Yeah.
Well, hopefully. I've been thinking about it for a long time and working out what I would like to do that would keep it interesting for me, but also useful for people who are watching it, without me just reading a list of stuff.
Everyone wants some good gardening tips, and especially if it's about attracting birds and wildlife to your garden, something that's focused on that. It's got to be a win.
And being a horticulturalist, I can solve some problems sometimes. So.
Yeah, horticulturist bird nerd. Thanks, Shane.
Thanks, Shane. Good to see you back in the Riot Squad. So yeah, and if you're a newbie, if you don't know what we're talking about, the Riot Squad is what we call the live listeners and commenters. Why do we call them that, Ricki? Oh, Ricki
I don't know. Why do we call them that?
Oh, Ricki can't remember. What's the collective noun for kookaburras?
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah.
A riot. So a group of kookaburras is called a riot, and so instead of calling them the Peanut Gallery.
I didn't know that's why we called them the Riot Squads.
There we go. Hadn't I told you that? Oh, well, maybe I'd only shared that with Holly. Maybe only Holly and I have been laughing about that. So
anyway, no, it's excellent. It's an excellent name, though.
And and I'm looking while I'm telling people what's coming up. If you're putting stuff in your diary too, it's the 16th of next month is when Holly is back with me on the Monday. That because she's on holidays until then. So put that in your diary. Otherwise, 9:30 on Saturday mornings regularly is where you'll get Habitat Gardening with me. Ricki, thanks. It's good to do the deep dive.
Thanks, Brian.
We might pick out some Central African or South American countries for the rarities next time, as well as different states in Victoria. But we've got to talk your patch and my patch as well. So
yeah. So okay. Well, there's lots of exciting things going on. So looking forward to reporting back on those very shortly.
Magnificent. Thanks everyone for being with us. I'm Grant. I do the bird emergency. Ricki does aussiewild.com.au. Is it .com or .net?
.com.au.
.com.au. And if you've got kids, make sure you go to aussiewild.com.au for the kids program for every school holidays that Ricki runs. See you, Ricki.
Maybe you want to see a platypus. See ya.
Oh, yeah. See you, Glenn. Oh, Glenn, drop me a reminder. I need to get you on for Photography Friday. Thanks, everyone. See ya.
Bye.